Here we go, folks. We are live post-game. Matt is still at the stadium from Chiefs Digest. Matt, Derek, your Chiefs are 5-0. Here we go. Thanks for joining us. This is Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome in, everybody. It is late, but the Chiefs got it done. We're brought to you by Game Time. There's this particular deal is a great deal for you every time you want to go back to that stadium. It's download the Game Time app, create your account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL. You're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Check them out at Game Time. We have plenty going on here. Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com is here with us tonight, our editor-in-chief at large in the building on the show from the stadium because the lights are still on and we're going to try to keep it that way. Matt, thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, as well as NFL33.com and RGRFootball.com. My partner, Chris Clark, the owner and proprietor, I like that word, of KC Chiefs Corner. Check that one out as well. You'll get lots of more information from all of us on all of our sites. Matt's at ChiefsDigest.com and Chiefs Digest here on YouTube. Thanks for making us your first listen post-game. We appreciate that you will make another Locked On show your next listen. Like, sub, hit the bell here on YouTube. Join us on Spotify and Apple Music and anywhere you can get an audio podcast. This was a game that didn't go the way that I thought, but in the end, I feel pretty good about it. They're in good shape coming out of the bye, at least for anything new. We're going to go over where they are as they all drift away for a little bit of a vacation. Coming up later in the show, this defense is for real. It is not messing around and is going to come after you. They proved that time and time again. But we start up top. And this is not anything to criticize Rasheed. A lot of news about his injury, yay or nay or back and forth. We'll boil that down in the next couple of days. But no Rice, no problem. Other players stepped up tonight. It was a team effort in what I think is probably the roundest sense that we've seen this season, Matt. A lot of guys stepped up and contributed in some big ways and some small ways, but they all got the job done to keep things moving. I thought this was the cleanest, best offensive performance of the season. What stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing that really stood out to me was the production that the Chiefs got from guys who weren't on this team in August. You get a 100-yard rushing game from Kareem Hunt, a 100-yard receiving game from JuJu Smith-Schuster. When you lose your starting running back and you're down your top two receivers, that's what apparently happens. I think certainly for the Chiefs, it's a little frustrating that they're not getting as much production from the guys who have been here for a while. The fact that two guys who at least have experience with this team but are coming in and giving them the production is a great thing to have, but a double-edged sword. It's great that they're getting the production from Hunt and from JuJu, but the fact that they're not getting that production from other guys, they're not getting, the 100-yard game from an Xavier Worthy, or they're not getting a 100-yard game from someone who was on this team in July and August. Even if it was a Carson Steele, somebody. Where would they have been in this game without JuJu and without Kareem? Good question, but they have, so they're 5-0.
Yeah, and they're sitting there, and Travis Kelce had 70 yards. He had a decent night for him, 9 catches, so not very productive when you look at the yards per catch, but still pretty good night for him. And McCall Hardman actually got involved. That was something that we hadn't seen. He was actually there, like you were talking about in training camp. Obviously not a ton of production, but 33 yards on 4 catches and 4 targets. I thought he played really well. Noah Gray continues to have his moments. And stands out when he gets the opportunity. And I will say this about Worthy. I agree with you. It's frustrating he wasn't able to get some big gains tonight, but there was 2 times where he was basically just tackled, and one of them got called and one of them didn't. And you know what? Some of those times, if you get the penalty call, it's just about as good as having a catch. I mean, yeah, you want a touchdown. Yeah, you want to try to get a long TD there, but they're pushing the ball down the field, and they're at least making the defense pay attention to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is a step forward for the offense. I mean, especially for Patrick, because I think he was making, we talked about it last week. There was a couple of more throws with authority in the second half against the Chargers, and everything kind of seemed momentum-wise to change on that deep ball to Worthy, and he seemed to just have more authority in the second half. I think this was an extension of that. I think we saw more of it. Was it perfect? No. He missed a wide open Xavier that could have been a big play at one point. Like you said, they had a couple of plays that could have been there. You know, one was certainly, I think, a questionable non-call and a pass interference against Worthy. I think he would have needed a rocket to catch that ball because it was far thrown from Mahomes, but official thought he had a chance at it. So, you got the flag on that one. You know, and Worthy, I mean, for a rookie, 20 yards and a touchdown, that's not bad production. But when you're down, you know, the people that you want the guys who've been here just having a little bit more contribution to it. I mean, it's great that the Chiefs have some guys who've been able to come in and bail them out, but you know, it's where could this team be if they're getting plays in multiple places right now? And like I said, I think this was obviously a step forward. Mahomes, 331 yards. It's a good day. The interception, I don't put on him, but once again, it's the little things that got to clean up. Just not enough production in the red zone. You can't get the red zone and down to the goal line that many times and not come away with touchdowns. That's just continues to be a bugaboo for this team. And I would have said maybe they're getting too cute, but then they also got into the touchdown on a cute play. So your mileage may vary. But I was really, really surprised just once they got down to the goal line that there wasn't a lot more of just hammering away with Kareem Hunt, because Kareem seemed to be, you know, gaining yards on every single play. And if you're down at the goal line, lean on Kareem, because they're certainly, with 27 carries, they're not afraid to go to Kareem.
I agree with you completely. And I think, honestly, I'm two sides of the sword here. Yes, grinding with Kareem inside the 20 makes sense, especially given how well your play action was producing for you. So I think that sets you up for that. But on the other hand, I was surprised that Kareem Hunt ended up with 27 carries. The run pass balance for the offense overall was pretty well balanced. I was very happy with that. But even despite a play that could have gone badly, and I don't put it on Steele for that ball coming out, because I don't think he even saw the defender coming, but I thought there'd be more balance and maybe even a few carries for P-Ryan as well. So to put it all on Kareem, that did take me a little bit by surprise, Matt. And maybe that was why they couldn't go down and just kind of pound the rock inside the 20. Do you think that went according to their plan, or was that something they had to adapt into?
Yeah, I think they adapted into it a little bit. I mean, Kareem told us this week that, you know, he wasn't afraid of the workload and that he was fine taking this on. But you look at production, I mean, I don't think there was any doubt he tired as the game went on. I mean, he was averaging close to 5 yards a carry in the first half, was really productive. Yes, the Saints probably zeroed in on him a little bit more in the second half, but I think it was also a little bit of wear and tear. I mean, I think he definitely looked, you know, just a little bit more worn down in the second half. It was harder for him there. That's to be expected. I mean, this is his second game in almost 10 months. So there's still a lot of rust for him to knock off, a lot of stamina to build up. It's going to happen. So maybe the Chiefs are just trying to let him fight through it. I do think 21 carries is a little more than they planned on giving him, but then it does come back to, you know, I don't really blame that fumble on Carson Steele. I know Andy Reid was pretty frustrated about it. That seemed more execution away from Carson. I mean, it was whether it was just a poorly executed or poorly designed play, you can debate that, but I think those were the two bigger factors rather than Carson Steele fumble the ball in that play. I think he just kind of got himself into no man's land. But once again, I mean, he puts the ball on the ground, and I think that the team gets away from him a little bit there because of the lack of confidence. Only just 5 carries, 12 yards. Wasn't a great day for him either. So outside of Kareem, I mean, this team really, you know, get a lot of production. And like you said, they didn't give P-Ryan much of an opportunity at all, although obviously he was on the receiving end of the Travis Kelce lateral. That was a pretty big play in this game.
80 offensive plays. 80. That doesn't happen very often. Patrick Mahomes threw for almost 8.5 yards per attempt. Huge day for him in that regard. This offense, I think, looked a lot better than it had in a long time. So I'm looking forward to them coming out of the bye. But we're going to talk about the defense here in just a moment.
Yeah, let's get after it. That is going to be a lot of fun, right? Coming back after this. Hey, NFL fans, you can start your season big with your return to FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, in the middle of the prep, whenever you get that feeling, get after it, and you can check out the latest stats. You can view the play-by-play and everything else that you want to know on the same page where you place your bets. It's all there for you to live in the moment and react to what you're seeing. They'll even get you started. You'll get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed right now when you place a $5 bet. Super simple. $200 in bonus for playing 5. Makes your life simple at FanDuel.com. Make sure you go check that out at FanDuel.com. And our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 completely free online courses. They have a ton to choose from, including one on the Constitution, basic free market economics, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. I don't think you have to wear the toga, but you can if you want. All the Hillsdale's courses are self-paced, and you can start whenever you want to, and tune in. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, and just enjoy the lectures. You can get all that information. You go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's Hillsdale, HILLSDALE.edu/lockedon to register. That's Hillsdale.edu/lockedon. Now we get to my favorite side of the ball, Matt. A lot to go over here. This was a team that I think if we were talking 5 games into last season, we'd be pretty dang happy where this team is compared to that team. I feel like they're slightly ahead of their evolution from last season in a different way, clearly, but this is true team defense. They swarmed tonight. Everybody was working together. You had a couple of coverage mishaps where you didn't quite overlap enough of your zones. But overall, this was 11 men on defense playing to go get one Alvin Kamara and one Derek Carr. How do you think that they performed?
You're right. This was total team defense tonight across the board. I think the pass rush played a little bit better. They definitely did a good job of getting some pressure on Derek Carr. And hey, the philosophy held up. If you push Derek Carr, you can force him into mistakes, and he made mistakes tonight, and that those mistakes played pretty critical to this ball game. So it was kind of a typical Steve Spagnuolo game plan for how do you attack Derek Carr. But yet again, we see some continuing trends. We see Alvin Kamara getting absolutely shut down, 11 carries for 26 yards. This team has just given up yards to running backs this season, and that's really particularly impressive when you look at the production that the guys that they have faced have done against other teams other than the Chiefs. And honestly, Kansas City is not really doing anything in particular to try and stop the run. I mean, their run stops are really coming from playing defense. I mean, they're not really going out of their way, but they've got 3 guys up in the middle who are playing extremely well right now. Chris Jones just continues to wreck everything. And even if he's not getting numbers in the box score, his play is definitely influencing everything. I mean, he absolutely gave that offensive line, and Derek Carr fits with just absolutely wrecking things in the middle. Tarshawn Wharton, Mike Pennell have done the exact same things. And then how else do you stop the run? Well, you've got to have a middle linebacker who's playing extremely well, and Nick Bolton doing that and making tackles. And, at that point, the Chiefs aren't even getting into situations where they need, safety help in the run game. But then, also they've got tough physical corners once again that help out support that. So there's a lot of reasons why the Chiefs play a good run defense, even when they're not trying to. But I thought this was a step forward for me, at least with the pass rush. I thought they get a little bit more pressure with these 4 at times than they have been getting, and they needed that. Certainly, they brought some blitzes when they needed to, and those were extremely effective. Connor, the last blitz, just rushing Derek Carr. And Derek Carr made a heck of a throw. Ball goes right through the receiver's hands. It would have been a tough catch. But, if Derek Carr maybe has a split second more to make that throw, maybe he gets it completed. But Jamari Connor was on him in a heartbeat. And that's just indicative of the blitzes that we saw tonight. I mean, they were effective when Spagnuolo brought them. There's not really a whole lot that I can really pick apart this defense. Even the couple of plays that they made, tip the cap to Derek Carr. Derek Carr made a couple of good throws. And really the only breakdown was the touch to Shaheed that, Brian Cook bit on the fake and kind of turned around the wrong way. Other than that, I don't really have any quibbles with his defense tonight.
Yeah, I think Mike Dana played a very good game. I was really excited to get him back. I think he helps in the run defense. And you look at what they're doing, I think Leo Chenal is also helping. He hasn't played every snap like some of the other linebackers do, but he plays enough to help. And I think he's really helping on the run defense. And 2.4 yards per carry for Kamara is fantastic. And when you look at what really has hurt the Chiefs in the past, it's been running backs and tight ends. And yeah, one of the tight ends had a touchdown, but 2 catches for 13 yards for Foster Moreau. And I think that was, Johnson also had 5 catches for 31 yards. So a little bit more from the tight ends, but nothing like what we've seen in the past, which I think really has helped this defense kind of step up. Bolton had 11 combined tackles. He was just all over the place tonight.
He certainly was, and led the way in what was a great effort all the way around. Now, can you improve in certain aspects? Sure. Would you like to get that pressure without having to blitz? Sure. But I think in the end, it's about a maturation process, Matt. And there's still a lot of young players on this defense, including Leo Chenal. He got put in a tough spot. Got caught looking in the backfield there. Want to keep an eye on Derek Carr. I get that. He'll learn from that. But I feel like, once again, stop me if I'm a broken record, but they made their mistakes. They took their lumps, and they got out with another win. And they're 5-0. Sitting atop the AFC. Only the Vikings can even scratch at their record at this point. And it feels like it's more than just luck, Matt. It feels like it's a little bit more of just consternation of, we have to grind through this, and it might be ugly, but we're going to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, and this win, let's face it, was a little bit different than the first 4 wins. I mean, the first 4 wins were certainly, hey, there were elements of them that Chiefs struggled. I mean, you could absolutely say that, hey, they're down 10-0 to the Chargers. Make all your jokes you want. I make them about the Chiefs had exactly the Chargers right where they wanted them. But all of their first 4 games had elements of them that were tough. This one, there was no really moment that the Saints had momentum where you thought, okay, they're going to make a game of this. I mean, when we got going, 10-7 was really the closest that it got. I mean, and after that, the Chiefs just kind of slowly eked away from them. And they did it a couple of different ways. I mean, they did it with obviously stifling defense. They extended the lead out. Saints get a touchdown late that kind of gets them back into it. But even at that point, they really ended it. I mean, this was a much more comfortable win than the Chiefs had the first 4 weeks. And to me, I mean, I think it is like we talked about with the offense. Defense, I think, is the same way. I think they're continuing to improve. I mean, I think that this was still, I mean, when you look at what the Saints have been doing over the first month of the season, even though they had a great output over the first couple of weeks, took a step back the last couple of weeks and started slowing down a little bit. I think the league's kind of catching on a little bit what they're doing with Carr and everything in this offense. But, I think that once again, this defense to me looks like it's improving incrementally week by week. It's a really good defense already. And so if you and your offense can both do that and just continue to get better week by week, you're going to be in a really good spot. So I think part of it is obviously this offense has, I think, a lot of room to improve. This defense doesn't have that as much because I think they're playing at a high level right now. What you got to figure out and try to figure out if you're Steve Spagnuolo is how do you maintain that over a 21-game season? It's going to be the challenge. He was able to do it last year, so I think you can do it. But it's tough. Once again, we talk about it. It's tough to do when every single week you're getting people's shot. That's hard to keep an edge. There's going to be a stinker at some point. But so far, this defense hasn't laid an egg.
Spagnuolo sent a jailbreak blitz at the exact right time. Was a huge play in the game. That interception early in the game stopped Kansas City from allowing a first score touchdown, which they've done every other game this season until this point. So that's huge. The defense stood up and really did its job tonight. I was really impressed with everything they were able to do. When we get back, we're going to talk more about how they're headed into the bye right after this.
Getting your tickets to Arrowhead just got easier. Whether you're looking for that week 1 against the Ravens, week 2 against the Bengals, or even week 5 when they come back in October for the New Orleans Saints, they have a new feature at Game Time called Game Time Picks. And it takes all the guesswork out of getting your tickets. It makes it easier to filter out the fluff and get the incredible deals on seats that you don't want to waste time searching for. through those thousands of tickets. Get Game Time picks. The curation makes it easy to get all the sports, concerts, comedy, and theater, anything that you're looking for. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use our code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create the account, use our code LOCKEDONNFL, and you'll get $20 off of your first ticket purchase at Game Time. It's last-minute tickets. It is lowest prices, and it's always guaranteed. Now, you can check out Locked On NFL. It's twice a day now, in the morning and in the afternoon. Get your double dose. Make sure you get over to ChiefsDigest.com here on YouTube, and also Chiefs Digest itself to check out Matt's work. Check out KC Chiefs Corner. Get subbed over there. Sub on NFL 33 for all my non-Chiefs breakdowns. And check out RDR Football because there's a lot there. Now, I'm uniquely happy to say that doesn't look like there's any new injuries tonight. Obviously, a lot of hubbub about what the eventual prognosis is going to be for Rashee Rice. A lot of rumor tonight. I think we can probably cover that later in the week when we touch base, Matt. But getting out of this game in the first 5 to the bye, I hate having an early bye, but at least you're in good shape there. Obviously, a lot of big names, Hollywood, Rashee, but nothing new this week. I see that as a good thing. It felt like this is what they needed to go try to rest up. It's a long second half of the season. How do you see where they are right now physically with this roster?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's one of those things that if you had a lot of injuries, you'd probably be okay with having an early bye week, but you'd rather have a later one to really help you out because now, you've got 12 more games to play in a row, and then you're thinking 4 more. So it could be potentially 16 weeks and 16 games and 17 weeks for the Chiefs. That's a lot of football to play. So, you'd like to have a later bye week, but it comes at a good time. You've got the break at 5-0. You've got the 49ers after that. It's Andy Reid obviously has traditionally come out after the bye week in pretty good shape. So that's going to be an interesting ball game. I mean, the 49ers kind of struggling early into the season. So we'll see where they stand and what their situation is once the Chiefs get out there in a couple of weeks. But there's not a lot of injuries right now. So it's not like this team is straining to the bye where it's like, good grief. Yeah, you get some rest up. It's going to be good for a handful of players. And I would say like, a game like today, I think that's why Andy Reid was probably okay with giving Kareem Hunt 27 carries because he knows he's going to have some time off to come off of this. But it was also kind of a way to maybe just let him shut off that rust and then get the rest, see where he's at. Maybe kind of accelerate the, getting back at the football shape process a little. But for the most part, nobody else really needs anything. The team had a very short injury list coming into this week. The only thing that they really picked up, and it doesn't appear to be anything major, is Wanya Morris, who left the game for a few snaps when it looked like maybe he had a pretty serious injury. Looks like, fortunately, nothing serious at all. He came back in and told me he felt fine after the game. So it doesn't look like that to be anything significant. And the injuries that they do have, I mean, they're all longer term. It's nothing that the bye week is going to help. I mean, Pacheco probably going to be back at some point late in the regular season. The receivers, it's increasingly looking like will not be available in the regular season. Is there a chance for Hollywood to come back in the postseason? Yes. Is there a chance for Rice to come back in the postseason? Maybe a small chance. We'll see. There's still, not 100% certainty with that, but this team's in pretty good shape health-wise. I mean, like I said, you'd rather have the bye later, maybe when you do need some rest and you need to get through some of the bumps and bruises. But, this team's in really good shape. And honestly, I mean, when they get back from the break, they should have a very, very short injury report.
One of the things I'm really loving about this is you're looking at this team and they went 5-0 against one of the hardest DVOAs in the NFL in the first 5 weeks. And they didn't play good football. And now you're sitting here going up against right now you'll be going up against a 49ers team coming out of the bye that's 2-3 right now. And then you face the Raiders, the Bucs, and the Broncos. The season is going to get easier, and you're going to have some time to get a little bit healthier, get Kareem, in the ice tub, as Ryan said earlier, because he's definitely going to need it with all those carries that he had tonight. And I do think that there's things that they're going to be working on, obviously, in the bye week, and you can get some other things done in this time. You're right, though. The injuries that they do have, this bye week isn't really going to change anything, and that kind of stinks for a little bit of it. But they're going to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back probably after the bye week, and that just brings another piece to this team. And I'm going to be very curious when they come back from the bye how they're going to incorporate having the 4 tight ends on the roster, because they did go to 14 personnel a couple times tonight. And I thought it was I'm not going to say it was extremely productive, but Jody got a catch as well. And I thought 14 was a good look for them.
Hey, everybody loves the T-Rex look. So I obviously I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to see more and more of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you go big. It's, hey, there's a certain things you can do and certain things you can't do from that personnel. But I'm interested to see it.
The crazy thing to me, though, is they split out the 3 tight ends. That was the crazy thing to me. They had 4 tight ends on the field, and 3 of them were split out. That's not what you expect when you have a 4 tight end set, but still fun to see.
Andy will use those tight ends in any way he wants to.
That's true.
It all depends what they're capable of, right? And capable is what we need to celebrate. So, folks, on winning nights, you get game balls. Matt, as our resident insider, always gets to go first, gets the pick of the litter. Matt, who gets your game ball tonight against the Saints?
Well, hey, first of all, I want to give an honorary game ball to a former Chief. Because Colin Saunders had a fun game tonight. He had 7 tackles, that intercept, the big man interception. He broke 15 miles an hour, Ryan. I mean, come on.
Yep.
There's nothing. You just that way. Hey, I get it. It was a frustrating moment because you don't get the touchdown in a situation where the Chiefs, you absolutely needed and should have gotten a touchdown. It felt very reminiscent of, like, Seattle should have a Super Bowl, but they made a very, very similar throw. Seattle probably should have gone to Marshawn. Chiefs probably should have gone to Kareem. So yeah, let's do that. But Colin Saunders is such a good dude, and that was such an awesome play. So Colin gets, when we're in 50, I mean, he looks like a linebacker out there at 320 some odd pounds. That's very generous, but 15 miles an hour. 15 miles an hour. Come on, kudos to that. But
still play linebacker, I'm convinced.
Exactly. My official game ball, though, I got to give it to JuJu. A lot of guys on defense. Chris Jones could get a game ball every single week, but JuJu, a big night for him. It's been almost 2 years since he's 100-yard receiving game. To have one game of this nature, I think it put out there was almost 4 years ago the last time he had a game like this. Incredible, just great. JuJu's been a really good, presence to have back into this locker room on its team. He's a well-liked guy. He's not a diva receiver, and he really fits in with this team. And with all the struggles that he's gone through and the tough time he had in New England, it's really cool to see him have a game like that tonight. And he delivered when the Chiefs needed it. So yeah, the touchdown, the drop, or however you want to call it, that was unfortunate. It was a good defensive play too. So, hey, the other team gets paid to make plays as well. So, but don't win this game without JuJu.
Yeah, 2 explosive plays. I think JuJu had a great game. And I have to say this about Colin. What I really loved was 3rd fastest time by a big man since 2020 at over 50 miles an hour. So, Matt, great point on that. But the other thing that I really enjoyed was watching Kelsey get that little pitch that Mahomes tried to do. And he gets hit by Colin Saunders, and Kelsey just comes up laughing because they were talking to each other at the bottom of that pile. My game ball is going to go to Kareem Hunt. 27 carries, 102 yards, touchdown. Love seeing him get his touchdown. And he did a great job just getting into the end zone because he was almost going to be down, and he extended his legs, made his legs stay up, and was able to get pushed into the end zone. So congrats to him for having a 100-yard game and getting a TD for the Chiefs. Really happy to see that for him.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, since Matt stole my thunder, I was going to go all defense, and I was going to give an honorable mention to Colin Saunders. I'm going to split it now. So honorable mention goes to Andy Reid for sticking with what he might have called 20 years ago This has been the most balanced offense through 5 games that we've ever seen him call in Kansas City, and I think that's going very, very well. But in the end, it's about stopping the run as much as it's running, and you couldn't have gotten that done without Nick Bolton tonight. He was everywhere. This is playing the way that the pendulum is swinging in the NFL back towards using the run game the way God intended. Sorry, folks. This is playing right into Nick Bolton's bread and butter. This is what Nick was best at in college. It's what he's still best at. His instinctual trigger is still 1,000% there. And this really highlighted between the blitz package and attacking the run. Couple of TFLs, couple of quarterback hits tonight. He was everywhere. And obviously he has to play off of the line that's in front of him, but he really is coming into his own after an elbow injury last year, and a couple of nicks and scratches so far this season. Hitting him right now when teams still want to run, I think that's a pivotal. Good for him. He gets my game ball tonight. We'd love to know what you think as well. Who gets your game ball? Leave your comments down here on YouTube. Throw them up on Locked On Chiefs on Twitter as well. I'm sorry, X, that other place that we call that now. So there's lots going on there. Matt, any final thoughts?
I completely misread you, Ryan. See, I saw you getting upset with the Colin Saunders thing. I thought you were getting upset. I was giving an honorary game ball to an enemy. I should have known.
No,
I mean, you love big guy touchdowns, and I think, we really need to calculate that where that Colin ranks in that 15 miles per hour for guys over 320. Because, I think if you told Colin, hey, it's like if you were over 340, you'd be like number 1 for 15 miles an hour. I think he'd probably admit what his real weight is. I would. If I could hit 15 miles an hour, I would admit how much I really weigh.
It's an impressive return.
324. That's a few sandwiches ago. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah. That's on a good day.
It is. Folks, it's been a good day. It's been a good night, and this has been a great show. Thank you for spending your time with us. Check out Locked On Chiefs everywhere that we are all the time here on the web, on X. Gotta get that right. Check out KC Chiefs Corner for Chris. ChiefsDigest.com for Matt. Check out NFL 33 for me. RGR Football, the whole 9 yards. Matt, thanks for staying up late. And we still got lights on, so we timed it well. I appreciate you, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night, folks. Enjoy your Tuesday. It's going to be a Victory Tuesday, and we'll catch you next time.